Welcome everyone to OnKey How To with Mike Els. Today we are talking about profiles. So, what is profiles? Profiles is a feature in OnKey that allows the user to experience OnKey in different ways. We're not making any changes to the actual records, we are just changing the way that we see OnKey. If we are talking about the dashboards, we can view it in different groupings. Columns can be a different sequence. There can be filters applied on top of the dashboards. Even if we open up a record, the fields that we see and the sequence of the tabs in the records, all of that can be saved in profiles, making it easier for us to go through our work management process or creation of any records in OnKey by using profiles. Right, so that's what we are going to have a look at today. Look out for one of our other videos where we are also talking about the designer and how you change things in the designer and save that as profiles, making it use as defaults, etc. Right, let's go to OnKey and let's have a look. Okay, I'm working today on my work order dashboard. And we'll start with the most interesting part, and that is creating some conditional formatting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to manipulate the colors on my asset code column, based on the type of work. All right, so I've selected column, asset code, that's the column I want to influence. And then my rule is that wherever the type of work description is equal to breakdown, then we want to have our background red like that, and just make that a darkish blue, and we apply. There we go. Now you can see wherever we've got these breakdown work orders, our asset code highlights in a nice red and blue bold. But we can do the same with our rows, so we can influence the whole row. So let's say wherever we have the asset code equals to 0355, we want to have green as the background, and apply. There we go. Right, so we can use this type of logic to change the way that we experience OnKey and really pull the user's attention to certain fields. Always remember, once we have implemented some of these changes and we want to reuse it in the future, we can go to profiles and we can save it as a profile. Right, we can give it a name, we can give it a description. I like to always put in who the creator is and the purpose. And then restriction level. We have 3 restriction levels. Private, only I can see and use my profile. Public, everyone in the system can see and use it. And then public read only is when everyone can see and use it, but they are not allowed to edit it. Right, and there you can see as an example how the profiles are saved as the different restriction levels. Right, some other things we can do, very basic, click and drag our column headers around. We can do a grouping as well, so click and drag it to the top, and then we have some nice groupings. So it's very cool, we can change the way that we experience it so that our users can navigate through these things much more easier than usually when they do their planning and scheduling. And that is how we can make use of profiles to change the way that we experience OnKey. Right, so remember, we use profiles to change the way that we work with OnKey, the way we see OnKey. We can change it for planners and schedulers. They see the same records, but maybe the details of the record will be slightly different. So we can save a set of profiles for our planner, and we can save a set of profiles for our scheduler. There's a lot more power in profiles. So again, look out for some of the other videos that touches on how we can further use profiles together with other features to get the most out of Anki. Thanks for watching Anki How To with Mike Els.